screen, let me know that you can hear me and you can see my screen. You should be able to see my empty notepad. Today we are covering the actual negotiating with the actual rep managed sites. We're covering networks, don't forget. This is negotiating with rep managed networks. Okay, so can you guys see my screen? Okay, great. So let's continue, which is so ideally there are certain things which you need to have in place before you even start communicating with your merchant, with these media buy sites. You need to discuss certain things which is going to help eliminate most of the headaches, especially this media buy. So let me just write, ideally, the following has to be in place before you start anything, right? What am I writing? That's ID. Ideally, flow has to be in place. So what are these things? This is, remember, this is what the negotiating part. Before you even go there, the first thing which you need to have are winning ads. So this is not the place to go and test your traffic. You need to have ads which are converting, and the popular sizes which convert very well. You get 300 by 250. That's the most popular. Then the second most popular is the 728 by 90, right? These are banner sizes. The next popular, it's the 160 by 600. Those are the ones which are preferred, and if you can get your hands on those ones, you need to focus on those particular sizes, right? So it is very, very important that you have your winning ads. The next thing, you need to have winning demographics. Why do I say demographics? You can scale up targeting demographics to the point that you can just put this on autopilot. So you need to have winning demographics. The next thing which you have to have a winning offer, right? Winning offer funnel. So it is not a matter of just having very good ads. When you've got very good ads, you get people who clicked, right? Then next thing, you need to target the right people who have got enough money, who can afford what you are promoting. Does that make sense? There's no point in trying to promote to someone who cannot afford what you have, like targeting 14 to 18, and you've got a product like ours, which is $1,000, it will not work. Does that make sense? Make sure you've got something which is which converts. Now, for you guys, this won't apply, but you need to have an ad server. someone which can handle the traffic. The next thing which you need to have for you which applies is that a pixel tracking. Something which will tell you how well your advertising is doing, and it allows you to optimize whatever your pages are. This is very, very important. You need to have these things in place, right? A tracking pixel and optimization, these are extremely, extremely important, because now what you're going to be doing is you need to have lots of data. On the end click-through, right? On the, sorry guys, lots of data. On the end CTR, which stands for what? Click-through rate, CTR, right? That's click-through rate. You need to know your landing page performance. Then you also need to know things like what? Conversion rates. These are some of the things you absolutely need to know before you even start placing what? Any media, large media buys. And you need to know the desired CPA, cost per action. How much does it cost you to make a sale, and how much can you afford before you start making a loss? So all those things are extremely important. You cannot ignore any of these things. Ignoring one or a few of these things could be very, very detrimental to your campaigns. Like I said yesterday, most of these networks, they require a minimum of 300 to 1,000 per day. That's the daily. Those are the minimums. These are the daily budgets, right? Let me just write daily. These are the daily budgets, right? So it's not like you are just doing what? You are just playing around in small ponds. These are huge, huge oceans. And make sure you are hitting your goals before you even reach any large numbers. Does this make sense? Are you understanding? Because with the CPA world, if you don't know what you're doing, you go broke in record time. The things which I'm covering with you, these are extremely important because they are going to determine whether you make money or you're going to lose your shirt. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for people just because they've got money, they want to go and test the oceans. Here you need to know what you're doing. Then the second part now, you've got all those things which I just mentioned in place, right? You need to know who you are dealing with. Remember, these networks, they want to make money. Their business is selling you traffic, so it makes sense to make you buy larger deals, right? So you need to protect your own interest, right? So dealing with reps. So now, when you're dealing with reps, remember there's limited transparency, right? Sometimes you can't even see where the traffic is coming from. So it is important to put certain parameters so that you can come out of that contract if you need to, right? And some of the things which you need to make sure that the rep is well qualified. So you need an experienced, let me write it, an experienced rep with experienced rep in direct response. Does that make sense? You want someone who knows a lot about direct response campaigns, because they are the ones who are going to be what running the show on your behalf. You do not want someone who's what completely useless when it comes to things like that. You want to protect your money. When your money goes out, it's like soldiers. Like what this guy from Shark Tank always says, O'Reilly. He always says your money is like soldiers. They need, when they go out, they need to go capture some more and come back home, right? So you need to make sure that what you are making money always. So you need to ask them things like when they expect to hit your CPA. Your CPA goal. While you are spending there's no A over there. Spending, we just say X dollars per day, right? Ask them, when do they expect that you would hit your CPA goal while you are spending, let's say, $300 a day, right? You need to know how everything is expected to go. They need to have so much experience that they can tell you everything which you need to know. Also, you need to ask them, let me just start a new line. You need to ask them if they have lots of experience. This is interesting, typing while I'm talking. With a similar vertical. Experience, I think, is it in it? Experience with, I'm going to expand on this. Vertical. Okay, when you're in the IM niche, it's totally different in terms of behavioral patterns compared to the, let's say, the weight loss niche, right? So if they don't have experience in that particular niche, you are absolutely wasting your time, right? So how would you get this information? You get your rep on the phone. And you ask them on the spot, you go through all of these things. The reason I'm actually taking the time to type these things, guys, it's very, very, very important. If you get this part wrong, you are going to waste a lot of money, right? So one of the things which you need to ask is if they can do your CPA goal in 5 days, because you don't want them just to blow through your budget and 100% in 10. Why? You want in 10 days. You want them to spread your traffic evenly over a 10-day period. The reason you want to do that is you can what now negotiate an out clause, which is something which we are going to cover later on. So another question which is very important is, do they broker their traffic, or do they actually get it straight from publishers, right? The reason why you need to check the quality, right? Because if they're getting it from brokers, guess what? You don't know exactly where the traffic is coming from. So it's very, very important that what you understand that. So the next thing, make sure you get them to commit and make them accountable for the CPA timelines. Remember, 50% in 5 days and 100% in 10 days. Make sure that what they stick to it. Is it making sense? Okay, someone's saying the amounts you are quoting will be outside most people's budgets, right? I totally understand. I will be doing a disservice if I don't cover it, and it's one of the things which I use in our business. So it is very, very important that I honor my part by teaching you all of these things. What you do with it, it's all up to you, right? Instead of me assuming that you can't afford it, I don't know what's in your pocket. Like most people, right? When you lack a skill, you go and find someone who's got what you lack, right? Like let's say, if you want to do, let's say, a trucking business, the easiest way, if you've got a business plan, just go find someone with a truck and they use what your plans to grow a business. It's 100% 10 days to 19 days, not 19 days. I'll cover it just now. Then the next thing, you need to negotiate. This is, if you have to get one thing out of this, this is the thing which you need to get. You need to negotiate hard for a 24-hour or 24 to 48 hour out clause, right? A 24-hour, so it's 24 hours like this, or 48. One of the two, out clause. So what is an out clause, right? So what happens is, you would go to the CPA metric, right? And they'll say what you need to commit to, let's say, 300 a day for the next 10 days or something like that, right? So that's cool. And you say, you know what? I'm going to sign a contract to buy traffic from you for the next 10 days, and my daily budget is going to be 300 a day, right, for 10 days. So what happens? They start sending traffic. Now you say you want them to send over a 10-day period, right? 10-day period, and you want what? 100% of your traffic done and 50% on the what? In 5 days, right? Oh wait, I forgot to write 50% here. 50% in 5 days. And another thing, you need your traffic evenly, right? You want the traffic evenly evenly sent to you, right? So what does that mean? For them to send 100% of your traffic in 10 days, it means they are going to have to send it even amounts each and every day until the 10 days are done. So what you do is you negotiate what we call a 24 or 48-hour clause. So what that does, if their traffic is not converting, right, day 1, day 2, and you can see this traffic is completely useless, you go and say, you know what, I do not want this traffic anymore. I want out. I want what? To stop. I don't want to get traffic from you. And because it's in the contract, they have to what? To honor it. Make sure this is in place. Otherwise, you are stuck in a contract where you go through the whole 10 days, you use a lot of money, and the traffic is not even converting at all. And the next thing, make sure, because there are different types of traffic, you get channel relevant inventory and you get remnant traffic. You want channel, right? Channel relevant. Ideally, channel relevant inventory. Inventory. Not, remember, you do not want remnant traffic. Make sure you say what? You want channel specific inventory. This is very, 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 very important. Now, remember on top here, I mentioned one of the things you need what? Tracking, right? Tracking pixel and all those things. So over here, the next point is you need to insist on billing based on your numbers with a 10% maximum variance. What do I mean by that? Okay, what sort of variance? Variance, yeah. With a maximum variance, right? 10% maximum variance. So let's say, because they are tracking, right? Let's say your numbers and their numbers, they don't match, right? You agreed to a 10% variance between your numbers and their numbers, and only insists to be built on your numbers, because their numbers might be completely off and you'll be paying for something which you did not receive, right? Make sure you've got what? A really good rep, because a rep can make or break these buys if someone doesn't know what they are doing. So are you guys following along so far? Give me a yes, give me a no. Okay, ideally channel relevant. You want channel relevant basically means if your offer is let's say work from home related thing, make sure it's related to that. As opposed you get traffic from let's say weather channel, right? Then you get things like from a weight loss site, then from a bodybuilding site, then from different sites. Make sure it's relevant to what you are looking for. That's channel relevant. So is someone following? Is everyone following along? Do you get it? Because this is very, very, very important. I know it is not sexy, attractive, what we are going through, but this is what makes you guys, what can make you guys a lot of money. Let me check this to see if everyone's following along. Okay, I like it. I guess we can proceed because everyone is following along fine. If you don't understand, please, 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 please. So the next thing which I'm going to cover, right, is in terms of pricing of these direct buys, right? And guys, if I'm getting too deep and you're getting confused, please let me know, because that's why I'm here for you guys, right? So now we go to pricing. Pricing of direct buys. So the way you do all the way they are calculated, right? See, these ones are done on CPM basis, right? What does CPM? Oh, sorry. What does CPM mean? CPM stands for cost per thousand. Impressions. CPM stands for cost per thousand impressions. That's how they normally do it. And others, they actually do what we call CPC, which stands for cost per click. But most of them, they use CPM, and some of them actually use cost per action. Those are the main ones, but typically they use what? CPM. So typically they use CPM, but depending on where you're placing your ads, people are going to what? Focus on whatever. So CPM, that's the typical one. That's calculated per thousand impressions. Impressions are people what who just saw your ad, right? It doesn't matter whether they interacted with it or not. So remember, impressions are just what people your ad have been shown to, and the pricing of these things, as you see, varies big time. Anything from $1, a mere dollar, all the way to something like $8, $10 plus. We just put $8. So that's a very big spread. So you find with CPM per subs for a submission, like for a lead, which is if you've got high converting pages, right? Per thousand out of per thousand. Per thousand, right? Just put per thousand. You normally get usually something between $3 to $5. Not just 3 to 5. I'll say $5 leads, right? Per lead. Are you guys understanding it, or do you want me to break it down more? So break it down a little bit more for you guys. So remember, you're paying CPM, right? So let's say your ad is shown to a couple of millions of people, right? Let's say 1.5 million, right? 1.5 million people have seen your ad, and you are paying $4 CPM. Remember, CPM is every what? Thousand. How many thousands are in 1 point whatever? You're going to end up paying something like 6,000. Let me just pull up my calculator and just check this quickly before I give you the wrong number. So that's give me one second. I'm just doing some calculations, guys. Give me 1 second. Just doing a couple of calculations. Divided by 1,000 times 4. Okay, 6,200. Yeah, that's right. It's 6,200. How do you get to the 6,200? What you do is, if you are paying $4 CPM, right? If you are paying $4 CPM, remember CPM is calculated $4 for every 1,000 people. So you divide this number by 1,000 and you multiply it by 4. It will bring this out. So that's how you calculate your CPM. Does that make sense? Graham, did I break it down properly for you? Then you get things like dedicated email CPMs where you those ones are usually like 10 to 50 bucks. So for a new person, I wouldn't really recommend it because it's much more riskier and you can really go bankrupt. The nice thing about the email dedicated emails is you can ask them to segment their list and test very small. And you see, all the things listed when you go to the prices listed, all of them are very negotiable, right? With a good capture page, I'll say 1 lead per 1,000 impressions, yes. With a good capture page. Sometimes you do better than that, sometimes less, depending on the offers. Are you guys understanding this? I don't want to go too deep because I told you over the next 2 more days we are going to be going in depth about this. It gets really deep. That's why I'm taking the time to write everything slowly for you guys. So we are good to continue. So yes, they are their banner ads. Once the leads are yours, you do whatever you want with them. You can retarget them, you can do anything which you want. So why do people go to places where they risk hundreds of thousands? Because once you've got a relationship with them, you get access to something even better. You get to buy your traffic on credit terms. Does that make sense? You get sometimes some of these places they let you pay once every 30 days, and if your funnel is really good, you can monetize the traffic and let that traffic pay for the ads itself. Right? The key is to have what? You can have you can negotiate things like long-term credit terms, right? And short-term payments. Why would you want to do that? To create cash flow for your what? For your business. This is very, very now we're talking what? Advanced. This is equal to what? Good cash flow for your business. Where you don't have to pay for your traffic straight away. You can scale up as long as the traffic is converting. Right? Remember, it's not exactly cheap. You're paying anything from 300 to 1,000 per day. So I'm going to stop here because when you go into this, what I was about to cover, it gets really tricky because you need to have things like BBB status, the DNB status, things like that, right? Trade references. It gets exciting. The only reason I'm going to go through this is I need to give you everything you need to know so that you yourself can make an informed. Some people were saying some of these numbers you are saying they're too big, but the potential traffic sources for this is just insane. You can easily get into it with other people and what do it. I know a lot of solo providers who are called the VIPs who are selling millions of traffic to most of you guys. They are actually getting it from these sources for pennies on the dollar, and they're charging you a lot more. So when you know these things, you can do CPA networks, you can do this, you can do so many things. It's just a matter of plug and play. So guys, I'm going to end it here. Do you have any questions before I wrap up this? Does it make sense? So tomorrow we are going to cover scaling and improving ratio of returns when it comes to direct buys. I'm going to go into depth when it comes to what getting credit lines and why you'd want that, especially when you've got converting pages and offers, things like that. Gets really exciting. I don't see any questions. So guys, until tomorrow, Audaci. Who do I recommend as a source? I'm going to cover that tomorrow. I've got 3 sources which I really recommend, which work very well, and which you're going to get great success. But I need to explain some things before I just give it to you, right? Okay, guys. Avdachi, ciao. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.